Hey guys, it's Jessii Vee. So today's story, I think I have briefly mentioned maybe on YouNow or on Snapchat, and even if I have briefly mentioned it in a video, I've never sat down and actually told you guys the full story. And I thought about it last night before I went to bed, and it's such a funny... Why is there a truck outside my house right now? Who are you? Oh, FedEx, okay. I don't think I ordered anything. I did not order anything. Why are they bringing a box to my door right now? Hello? I don't know what's going on, guys. It's weird because I film like at the front of my house with a huge window so I can see all the traffic outside, the people walking by. A lot of the times I'm filming and people walk by like, what are you doing in there? Because I have all these like bright lights shining on me. It probably looks so weird to people outside watching. What is he doing? He's just like standing with a box at the bottom of my driveway. Is he confused? Is he at the wrong house right now? Oh, he's driving away with the box. I don't think that was my box. I think he was confused. All right, so let's get into this story. I thought about it last night before I went to bed. I told Ty, we had a little laugh about it. So I thought I'd make like a little story time for you guys. So if you did not know already, I'm sure long-time subscribers of mine do know this, but I am terrified of rides. I have been since I was a little kid. I made a story time about this one ride that my dad took me on when I was a kid. It was one of the biggest roller coasters in Ontario. It had a bunch of loops and I was like 9 years old when I went on this roller coaster ride, and it was so terrifying. I was in mid-air in these loops with my dad and I was like, Daddy, make it stop! Dad, make them turn off the ride! And he's beside me like, I can't stop the ride! And it was the most terrifying experience. And when I got off the ride, I looked at my dad and I'm like, I will never go on a ride ever again. And then like a year later, my parents surprised us with a Disney World trip. And I was super excited, but at the same time, I was really scared because Disney World equals fun, but also equals tons of rides. So when we got there, it was just a very confusing time for me. For example, my parents took me on the It's a Small World ride, and I don't know why, but when I got on this ride, it's such a slow ride through tunnels and there's like dolls singing and stuff like that. Little babies go on this ride, you know what I mean? But while I was on this ride, I thought it was one of those flume rides. You know, the ones that like, it's a log that goes through water and there's like a hill that goes down. I thought that the It's a Small World ride was a flume ride. So I thought that we might be approaching a hill that would take us down when really that wasn't the case. So I'm sitting in this like little boat with 6 little babies around me. My mom is beside me and I'm screaming at the top of my lungs, we're all gonna die! The ride's gonna go overboard! There's a hill coming up, guys! You babies, listen, okay? We're not gonna make it! And I'm just screaming and crying. I'm just 10 years old. I'm making these babies scream and cry because they think that something really bad's happening. And my mom is beside me like, Jess, this is not a flume ride. This ride is literally going 5 kilometers an hour. Calm down. And I just couldn't because I had so much anxiety about rides, and it was just a really horrible experience. I don't know anyone else in my life or in the world that has screamed and cried thinking that they were actually going to die while being on the It's a Small World ride. I was insane, but I honestly blame it on my dad for taking me on that terrifying roller coaster because I thought from that point onward that there was no such thing as a slow ride where nothing happened. I thought that every ride started off slow and then had some sort of big hill or loop or something like that. I did not believe in little kiddie rides. I was always like, no, there is no such thing as a ride that goes slow. There's always dark secret motive behind it. People think they're getting on an easy little kid ride, but really, wait 5 seconds, you'll be going down a hill. Why is the FedEx man back? He brought the box back. Like, is it my box or not? Figure it out. Literally don't know. I have the most random people show up at my house all the time. I'm literally thinking of making a video about it because I have like security cameras outside of my house. So whenever there's a random person, I just screenshot it. And like I have so many people that I could show you that show up at my house. Like I'm thinking of making a video on it. So beware people, stop coming to my house. Okay, so anyways, let's get to the part where I was actually kicked off of a ride. Mom and Dad, why did you take me here? And listen, like, Disney World was great. I'll always have some really amazing memories from being there because my favorite part of Disney World was the shows and meeting the cast because that didn't involve being off the ground and being thrown around. The rides were what scared me. Back then, when I was 10 years old, I think VR, which is like virtual reality, it's when you put on that thing across your face and you play games or watch stuff or I don't really know how to describe it, but it's like you've entered a whole other world. Whenever you move your head around in the game, it's like you're there. I am so bad at describing this. Anyone who's a gamer watching is probably like, Let me see if I can get an actual definition for VR. What is virtual reality gaming? Virtual reality gaming is where a person can experience being in a three-dimensional environment and interact with that environment during a game. So you put on the glasses and you're inside like a whole other world. But it's not real. Like the point of VR is that it's not real, but you feel like you're there. So back when I was 10, I think this was sort of a new thing that people were bringing out into the world and people were really excited about it. So I don't know if this is still at Disney World or not, but there was this place. It was called like the Aladdin virtual reality ride or something like that. It's where you walk into this building and you sit on what looks like a magic carpet and you put on these glasses and you enter Aladdin's world. You know that part at the beginning of the movie where they enter that giant sand tiger and suddenly they're just surrounded by treasure and stuff like that. And the whole point of this game is to fly around on the carpet before the giant tiger like closes and collapses like it does in the movie. And my dad was really excited to take my sister and I to this place because he had never done virtual reality stuff before either. And the thing about this was no one really told me what was about to happen. And I was just little, right? So the guy working there put these glasses over my face and suddenly it was just like I'd entered Aladdin's world and I couldn't tell the difference between what was real and what wasn't anymore. Like I thought that somehow I was actually in that tiger cave thing. And I know it sounds so silly, but when you're little and you're looking around and that's all you can see, you almost forget that you have that like mask over your face and you forget that you're actually just sitting in a room in Disney World and you're not actually with Aladdin. And what made it like more real was that the carpet you were sitting on was actually moving and wherever you like turned in the game, the carpet would move that way too. So you felt like you were there. So there was this part where like everything started to crumble because you had to get out of the cave before the tiger like collapsed. So Mandy's on the ride beside me and you can see her like in the game flying beside me and she's doing perfectly fine. She's having fun. I can hear her giggling beside me, but I'm in there and I see the walls collapsing and I start screaming because I think I'm going to die. Do you see the pattern here? It's like anything that I go on, any ride I go on, I think I'm just not gonna make it out alive. So I'm on this new VR ride, I'm screaming, there's kids lined up behind me excited to use this ride. And I'm sitting there screaming, I'm gonna die, someone get me out of this cave. And I'm screaming and I'm crying and Mandy's like laughing at me beside me because she like realizes that it's not real, but I don't. I don't think I've screamed so loud in my life. And I remember the guy working there ran over and pulled off my glasses and I'm screaming until the moment he like pulls it off and I see that I'm just actually sitting in a room. So I'm like, ah! Oh, this ain't real. Oh, my bad. And the guy just looks at me, looks at my dad, and he's like, you guys need to leave right now. You've scared every single guest in this building. Please leave now. Apparently, I was the first person to ever scream and think that I was gonna die on a VR ride. And I had made a few kids in line cry, so we were kicked out. And Mandy was sad because she was having such a fun time on this ride and I ruined it for her. And my family still talks about this to this day. And this is why I don't go to theme parks. I don't go to carnivals. If I do go to these places, I watch my friends go on the rides. I do not want to be on there. I'm still the same person as I was when I was 10. I will literally cry on a ride. But yeah, that was the time that I got kicked off a Disney World ride. And honestly, do you really blame me? I was 10 years old. I didn't understand. It was terrifying. Please comment down below if you're like me at all or if you were like me. I just feel like everyone I ever meet or know, they love rides and they don't understand how I don't. So if you're terrified like I am, please comment down below. I would love to know if there are people out there like me. Maybe not to the extent that I've reacted, but you know what I mean. But anyways, that is my story time for today. Don't forget guys that I do have my summer merch still available. I have a purple Embrace Your Weird Side tee and I also have a white Embrace Your Weird Side tee, and these are limited edition. They're only available in summer, so once they're gone, they're gone. And I do have a whole new website that we launched. So even if you're not interested in merch, definitely check out the new website because it's so clean, it's so beautiful, it's so colorful. The link is down below to check out. And yeah, I hope you guys have an awesome rest of your day and I will see you in my next video. Bye!